Have you ever wished you could step back in time and visit places that no longer exist? Throughout histories, some of the world's most famous locations were once filled with life, visitors, and unforgettable memories. Millions of people walked their streets, admired their beauty, and believed these places would stand forever. But time had other plans. Some were destroyed by war, others were lost to natural disasters. A few were deliberately demolished, leaving behind only photographs and memories. Today, we're counting down 10 famous places that once existed but are now gone forever. From magnificent buildings and ancient cities to iconic landmarks that vanished from the face of the earth, these incredible places can never be visited again. And make sure you stay until the end, because the final place on our list was once considered one of the greatest wonders of the ancient world. Let's begin. Number 1. The Library of Alexandria. Imagine a place that held the knowledge of the ancient world. A place where scholars gathered to study science, medicine, philosophy, history, and astronomy. This was the Library of Alexandria. Built more than 2,000 years ago in Egypt, it became one of the greatest centers of learning in human history. Rulers collected books and manuscripts from across the known world. Scholars from different civilizations traveled there to exchange ideas and expand human knowledge. Some historians believe the library contained hundreds of thousands of scrolls, but over time, wars, fires, and political conflicts damaged the library. Its priceless collection gradually disappeared until the legendary institution was lost forever. Many historians believe countless works of science, literature, and history vanished along with it. To this day, the Library of Alexandria remains one of history's greatest symbols of lost knowledge. What discoveries might have survived if the library had endured? We may never know, but while Alexandria was lost over time, the next place on our list disappeared in a far more sudden and devastating way. Number 2. The Colossus of Rhodes. Imagine arriving by ship at a busy ancient harbor. As your vessel approaches the coastline, a gigantic statue rises above the sea. Travelers stare in amazement. Merchants point toward it from their ships. Visitors from distant lands struggle to believe what they are seeing. This was the Colossus of Rhodes, one of the most famous monuments of the ancient world. Built around 280 BC on the Greek island of Rhodes, it was created to celebrate a major military victory. The people of Rhodes wanted a symbol of their strength, independence, and success. What they built became one of the greatest engineering achievements of its time. The statue represented Helios, the Greek sun god. Made primarily of bronze and supported by an iron framework, the Colossus stood about 33 meters tall. That made it one of the tallest statues in the ancient world. For decades, sailors approaching Rhodes could see it from far away. The monument quickly became famous throughout the Mediterranean. Stories of its enormous size spread across the ancient world. Travelers journeyed great distances simply to witness the statue for themselves. The Colossus became a symbol of the wealth and power of Rhodes, but its glory would not last. Just over 50 years after it was completed, disaster struck. A powerful earthquake shook the island. The massive statue collapsed, and sections of bronze crashed to the ground. Many people believed the statue should be rebuilt. However, according to historical accounts, an oracle advised against restoring it. As a result, the remains stayed where they had fallen. For centuries, visitors continued to travel to Rhodes just to see the giant fragments scattered across the ground. Even broken, the statue impressed everyone who saw it. Eventually, the remains disappeared. Historical records suggest that the bronze was removed and later sold. Today, the Colossus of Rhodes no longer exists. No complete pieces survive, and no one knows exactly what it looked like. Modern artists and historians can only make educated guesses based on ancient descriptions. Yet despite its disappearance, the Colossus remains one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Its story continues to inspire people more than 2,000 years after its destruction, and reminds us of humanity's ambition and engineering skill. Why does the Colossus of Rhodes still fascinate people today? Because it was one of the tallest statues ever built in the ancient world. Because it stood as a symbol of power and achievement. And because one of history's greatest monuments vanished almost completely. But while the Colossus was destroyed by an earthquake, the next place on our list disappeared for a very different reason. Once among the wealthiest cities in the world, it was eventually abandoned and left to the desert. Number 3. Atlantis. What if an entire civilization disappeared beneath the ocean? Not slowly over centuries, not because of war, but in a single catastrophic event. This is the legend of Atlantis, perhaps the most famous lost place in human history. Unlike many places on this list, nobody knows for certain whether Atlantis ever truly existed. The story first appeared more than 2,300 years ago in writings by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. According to Plato's account, Atlantis was a powerful and advanced island civilization. It was said to be wealthy, technologically impressive, and filled with magnificent buildings and temples. The people of Atlantis supposedly controlled a vast empire and possessed enormous influence throughout the ancient world. But their prosperity would not last forever. Plato wrote that Atlantis became arrogant and corrupt. As punishment, the island was struck by a catastrophic disaster. In a single day and night, Atlantis disappeared beneath the sea. The civilization was gone, its cities vanished, its people were lost, and the ocean swallowed nearly every trace of its existence. For centuries, many people viewed the story as nothing more than a myth, but others wondered whether Plato's tale might have been inspired by a real place. Over the years, countless theories have emerged. Some researchers believe Atlantis may have been based on an ancient civilization destroyed by natural disasters. Others suggest connections to lost settlements in the Mediterranean. Some even claim Atlantis lies hidden somewhere beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Despite decades of exploration, no definitive evidence has ever been found. No lost city, no buried empire, no ruins that conclusively prove Atlantis existed. Yet the mystery refuses to die. Books, documentaries, movies, and television programs continue to explore the legend. Each new generation becomes fascinated by the possibility that a forgotten civilization might still be waiting to be discovered beneath the waves. Whether Atlantis was real or simply a story designed to teach a moral lesson, its influence has endured for thousands of years. Few lost places have captured the human imagination. Even today, Atlantis remains one of history's greatest mysteries. A place that may never have existed, yet somehow became one of the most famous places ever lost. Why does Atlantis still fascinate people today? Because nobody knows whether it was real. Because the mystery has survived for over 2,000 years. Because countless explorers have searched for it. And because people are still hoping that one day, the truth will finally be uncovered. But while Atlantis may only exist in legend, the next place on our list was absolutely real. It was one of the largest and most spectacular statues ever built by human hands. For centuries it stood proudly at the entrance of a great harbor. Then an earthquake brought it crashing down forever. Number 4. Pompeii. Imagine waking up on what seems like an ordinary morning. Shops are opening, children are playing, and merchants are preparing for another busy day. Then, within hours, everything changes. This is the story of Pompeii, one of the most famous lost cities in human history. Located near the Bay of Naples in Italy, Pompeii was once a thriving Roman city filled with homes, temples, markets, and bathhouses. Thousands of people lived in Pompeii. The city prospered through trade, agriculture, and its location along important routes. Life was busy, vibrant, and successful, but most residents had no idea they were living beside a deadly threat. Towering above the region stood Mount Vesuvius. For generations, the volcano appeared harmless, and few suspected the disaster that was coming. In the year 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted with enormous force. A massive cloud of ash, rock, and hot gases shot into the sky. Darkness spread across the region as ash began falling on the city. Buildings collapsed under the weight, panic spread through the streets, and residents desperately tried to escape. Many fled, but others were trapped by the catastrophe. Within a short time, Pompeii was buried beneath layers of volcanic ash and debris. Entire streets disappeared. Homes vanished. Temples were swallowed by the eruption. The once thriving city was erased from sight. Over the centuries, people gradually forgot exactly where Pompeii had stood. The city remained hidden beneath the earth for nearly 1,700 years. Then came an extraordinary discovery. During excavations in the 18th century, archaeologists uncovered the lost city. They were amazed by what they found. Because Pompeii had been buried so quickly, many buildings, streets, artworks, and everyday objects remained remarkably preserved. It was like opening a window into ancient Roman life. Researchers discovered homes with colorful wall paintings, bakeries, shops, public baths, and even graffiti written by residents thousands of years ago. Few archaeological sites have provided such a detailed glimpse into everyday life in the ancient world. Pompeii became one of the most important archaeological discoveries ever made. Today, Pompeii is one of the most visited archaeological sites on Earth. Millions of visitors walk through its ancient streets every year. Yet despite its preservation, the original living city is gone forever. Its people vanished in a single catastrophic disaster, making Pompeii one of history's most powerful reminders of nature's immense force. Why does Pompeii still fascinate people today? Because it was destroyed in a single volcanic eruption. Because much of the city was preserved beneath ash. And because it offers an extraordinary snapshot of Roman life nearly 2,000 years ago. But while Pompeii disappeared beneath volcanic ash, the next place on our list vanished beneath the sea itself. Number 5. The original World Trade Center. For nearly 3 decades, the Twin Towers dominated the skyline of New York City. Known around the world as the World Trade Center, they became one of the most recognizable landmarks on Earth. Completed in the early 1970s, the towers stood taller than almost every other building in the world. Their sleek design and incredible height transformed the skyline of Lower Manhattan and attracted visitors from across the globe. People instantly recognized the Twin Towers. Tourists traveled to New York just to see them. Photographers captured them from every angle, while filmmakers featured them in movies and television shows. For many, the towers symbolized ambition, innovation, and the global importance of New York City. Their presence became deeply connected to the identity of one of the world's most famous cities. Each day, tens of thousands of people worked inside the World Trade Center complex. Visitors could ride elevators to observation decks high above the city and enjoy breathtaking views stretching for miles in every direction. On clear days, it felt as though you could see forever. The World Trade Center was much more than a collection of office buildings. It was a landmark woven into the daily life and culture of New York. Then came September 11, 2001. On that morning, events unfolded that shocked people across the globe. Within hours, both towers collapsed. The destruction was broadcast live to millions of viewers worldwide. The loss of life was immense, and the tragedy left a lasting impact on families, communities, and nations. For many people, it remains one of the most unforgettable days in modern history. When the dust settled, the skyline of New York had changed forever. The Twin Towers, once visible from miles away, were gone. In the years that followed, efforts began to rebuild the site. Today, a memorial honors those who lost their lives, and a new generation of buildings stands where the original towers once rose into the sky. Visitors from around the world continue to visit the location to reflect and remember. Yet despite the new developments, the original Twin Towers can never truly be replaced. For those who saw them in person, they remain an unforgettable part of New York City's history. For younger generations, photographs and videos offer only a glimpse of what it was like to stand beneath these giants of the skyline. The original World Trade Center once seemed permanent, but it eventually became part of history. And while the disappearance of the Twin Towers shocked the modern world, the next place on our countdown vanished nearly 2,000 years ago after one of the most powerful natural disasters in human history. Get ready for a city frozen in time, preserved beneath layers of volcanic ash, and rediscovered centuries later. Number 6. The Berlin Wall. For nearly 3 decades, one structure stood as one of the most powerful symbols of division in human history. It was known as the Berlin Wall. Following World War II, Germany was divided into East Germany and West Germany. The city of Berlin, located deep inside East Germany, was also split into eastern and western sectors. As political tensions between the Communist East and Democratic West intensified, thousands attempted to escape. Many East Germans fled to the West in search of greater freedom and economic opportunity. To stop this mass migration, East German authorities began constructing a barrier in August 1961. What started as barbed wire quickly evolved into a massive wall stretching for miles. Guard towers were erected, security fences were installed. Patrols monitored the border day and night. Over time, the Berlin Wall became one of the most heavily guarded borders in the world. Families were separated overnight. Friends who had lived near one another suddenly found themselves divided by concrete barriers. For many people, crossing from East Berlin to West Berlin became nearly impossible. The wall did far more than divide a city. It divided lives. For 28 years, the Berlin Wall stood as a visible reminder of the growing tensions between East and West during the Cold War. Around the world, it became a symbol of political conflict and human separation. Yet despite the restrictions, many people continued searching for ways to escape. Some tunneled underneath the wall. Others attempted daring escapes using homemade aircraft, hidden compartments, and elaborate plans. While some succeeded, many were captured, and some lost their lives trying to reach freedom. As the 1980s progressed, political change began sweeping across Eastern Europe. Pressure for reform increased and public protests grew larger. Governments that once seemed unshakable began to weaken. Then came one of the most historic nights of the 20th century. On November 9, 1989, East German authorities unexpectedly announced that travel restrictions would be eased. Thousands of people rushed toward border crossings. Crowds gathered along the wall. Border guards, overwhelmed by the situation, eventually allowed people to pass. Celebrations erupted as strangers embraced and families reunited. People climbed onto the wall and began chipping away pieces of concrete with hammers and tools. The images were broadcast around the world. Within months, large sections of the Berlin Wall were dismantled. One of the most recognizable symbols of the Cold War had disappeared. Today, only small sections remain as historical memorials. Visitors can still see fragments preserved in Berlin, but the vast barrier that once divided a city is gone forever. Its fall marked the end of an era and became a powerful symbol of hope, freedom, and reunification. But while the Berlin Wall was intentionally dismantled by people celebrating a new future, the next place on our list disappeared in a single morning and changed the world forever. Number 7. Kowloon Walled City. Imagine a place so crowded that sunlight barely reached the ground. a place where thousands of people lived inside a maze of interconnected buildings, narrow passageways, and hidden staircases. A place that looked more like something from a science fiction movie than a real neighborhood. Welcome to Kowloon Walled City. Located in Hong Kong, Kowloon Walled City was unlike any other place on Earth, originally established as a Chinese military fort centuries ago. The area later evolved into a densely populated settlement that existed in a unique legal gray zone for many years. As Hong Kong rapidly developed during the 20th century, more and more people moved into the walled city. Buildings were constructed wherever space could be found. New floors were added on top of old ones. Structures expanded outward and upward until they became tightly packed together, creating an extraordinary urban landscape. By the 1980s, approximately 35,000 people were living within an area of only a few city blocks. The population density was among the highest ever recorded anywhere in the world. From above, the city appeared as a massive block of concrete. Inside, it was a labyrinth. Tiny apartments, family businesses, schools, restaurants, workshops, and clinics operated within the maze-like environment. Narrow corridors twisted between buildings in every direction. In some areas, passageways were so tight that two people could barely walk side by side. Electrical wires stretched overhead in every direction, while pipes crisscrossed walls and ceilings. Yet despite its unusual appearance, Kowloon Walled City was home to thousands of ordinary people trying to build better lives for themselves and their families. Children played on rooftops, neighbors formed close communities, and small businesses thrived. For many residents, the city was not a curiosity, it was simply home. As the years passed, however, concerns about safety, sanitation, and infrastructure continued to grow. Eventually, authorities decided that the city could no longer remain as it was. In 1993, demolition began. One by one, the buildings that made up this extraordinary urban maze were torn down. A year later, Kowloon Walled City had disappeared. Today, a peaceful public park occupies the site. Visitors can walk through beautiful gardens and historical displays, but the astonishing city that once stood there is gone forever. Photographs and videos remain as reminders of one of the strangest and most densely populated places in human history. Many people who see images of Kowloon Walled City for the first time assume they are looking at a movie set, but it was real. Thousands of people lived there, and now it exists only in memories, photographs, and history books. As remarkable as Kowloon Walled City was, the next place on our list met an even more dramatic fate. What was once a popular amusement park filled with laughter and excitement would eventually become one of the world's most famous ghostly ruins. Number 8. Crystal Palace. Imagine a building so extraordinary that millions of people traveled just to see it. In 1851, Britain unveiled the Crystal Palace, a massive structure made almost entirely of glass and iron, built for London's Great Exhibition. It quickly became one of the most famous buildings in the world and a symbol of innovation unlike anything people had ever seen before. Designed by Joseph Paxton, the Crystal Palace stretched more than 1,800 feet long and contained hundreds of thousands of glass panels. Visitors were amazed by its enormous size and the sunlight that filled the interior through its transparent walls and roof. Many people describe the experience as feeling like they had stepped into the future. After the exhibition ended, the building was moved to South London, where it became a popular destination for concerts, exhibitions, and public events. For decades, families and tourists visited its beautiful grounds and attractions. The Crystal Palace stood as a powerful symbol of human achievement, and many believed it would stand forever. But on November 30, 1936, disaster struck when a massive fire broke out. Despite the efforts of firefighters, the flames spread rapidly through the structure. Within hours, one of the world's most famous buildings had been destroyed. Today, only traces remain, but its influence can still be seen in modern architecture around the world. 8 incredible places that once existed, shaped history, inspired millions, and then disappeared forever. From magnificent train stations and towering skyscrapers to lost cities, ancient wonders, and legendary landmarks, each of these places reminds us that nothing lasts forever. Some were destroyed by war, some were lost to disaster. Others simply faded away with time, yet their stories continue to fascinate us because they offer a glimpse into worlds we can never truly experience again. Which of these lost places surprised you the most? Was it the mysterious Atlantis, the legendary Library of Alexandria, the towering Colossus of Rhodes, or another place on our list? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey into history's greatest mysteries. And if you think these places were fascinating, wait until you see what we have coming next, because in our next video, we'll explore even more incredible things that once existed but are now gone forever. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.